Yins or Joe, you guys think the Steelers are absolutely going to trade for a receiver before the 5th?
I'm torn. As much as I would have said 2 weeks ago, 1,000% yes. I think it's dialed back now because I don't think we are as eager or as willing to spend because we don't need to. Kind of what Deke said earlier. With Russ being out there and playing the way he's played, it's taken a little bit of that urgency off of needing to go get a receiver. So now instead of us having to potentially talk first, seconds, or thirds, it's like, yo, if it isn't what we exactly want, man, no, we don't even have to entertain this because we do feel a lot more confident in our group right now.
John Rye, watch out for GP from the top rope.
Yeah, that joke was funny.
I didn't see it.
So it was on the fumble where Russ fumbles.
That's what Mike Hood's saying right here. He says, shout out to all the chat, Nuts and Deke. Y'all see GP do the wrestling move off the top rope.
Bro.
After the Russ fumble, I crack up every time I see it.
It's hilarious. So after the fumble happens, their cat picks it up. He's running it back. I forgot which O-lineman tackles him, but GP is like by the sideline, and the pile is about to run up on him. So he's thinking, let me jump in the air to get out the way. But when he jumped, it went from cool athlete to like, oh, how'd you flip sideways? And he like elbow drops the whole pile. And we like, bro, what? It looked like he was off the top rope at WrestleMania, bro. But he's trying not to get rolled up on it. It just looked like, oh. And then he just, yeah. But it's hilarious, bro. Just pull it up on Twitter. You can't miss it, man.
I will.
Yeah, shout out to GP, man.
Why am I not surprised? That's just
shout out
how
to GP.
Pickens, he's just wiry.
It's GP, bro. Yes.
Yeah, there's always something.
I was like, yo, what is this? I was low-key like, yo, don't throw the flag. Don't throw the 50-yard unnecessary roughness because it looked like weird when it happened. But it was funny as heck, though. And because it's GP, it added to it. Yeah.
Dylan A says, what happens if GP gets hurt? Then what do we do?
Well, that's the whole conversation, man, in the sense of, are you trying to acquire depth or are you trying to acquire a GP insurance policy? A GP insurance policy is a higher end player. That's the Devontae Adams. That's the Brandon Ayuk's. That's, the Christian Kirks. The guys that have gotten those second contracts are going to cost a little bit more. If we are trying to, worry about that part, I think that's what you have to do. Now, if we're just looking at overall depth, we're trying to add to the equation and not necessarily be so focused on if a GP goes down, then I think it's a different conversation. I think, it goes back to kind of what I was saying earlier. If it's not the exact right scenario, man, I don't think we have to because we're getting an uptick in production. We also, I was saying at some point we should get Roman Wilson back, but I'm afraid to bank on that too much.
He's done for the season.
Yeah, I was about to say it's a little bit too much, man. So, that's kind of where I'm at with it, though. But I think that if the mindset is we want a GP equivalent, then yes, go get you somebody right now. You only got a couple days left. But if we're just saying, man, GP stay healthy, we like the group as a whole, then yeah, I don't think you have to go out there and get something. I don't think it's as pressing, man.
I think you could do a little bit of both,
you could.
though.
Yeah, you
because
definitely could.
At this point, I don't think there is a GP insurance policy or a guy that's 1-to-1 to GP that's like actually available.
So I was like, would you say Deebo Samuel?
Because Cooper, I don't think any of these guys are getting
Cooper
traded.
Kupp has been talked about, but then the Rams keep saying he's not.
Yeah, they just won, and the NFC West is a weak division right now.
Yeah.
Rams are right back in the mix for that.
Seahawks, maybe DK. They just
I don't think any of that's happening. So realistically,
without us having to like give up something ridiculous.
Realistically, it's a Darius Slayton, maybe a Mike Williams, but maybe not Mike Williams now because Lazar's on IR.
Mm-hmm.
Cortland Sutton, I doubt that. His name's getting floated out there, but like,
why would you take that away from Bo?
Yeah, right, exactly. So Darius Slayton, he's obviously not as good as GP, but I do think if GP went down, a combination of Darius Slayton, Van Jefferson, Calvin Austin can get you out of a stadium.
Yeah.
Better than if GP goes down and we don't have Darius Slayton.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
So I think you could try to do a little bit of both. You're not going to get this like
but if GP
awesome
goes down, we're having a big issue anyway.
Yeah, it's almost like Justin Jefferson going down with the Vikings.
It's like it's going to be an issue. Like you don't have that just sitting on your bench. Nah. And if we did have three of those, then we'd be the Cincinnati Bengals, where it was the T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and Tyler Boyd, with their O-line and other places were very deficient.
Adam Thielen's out there, like a Jacoby Myers. Like, I like those names.
Yeah. I think all of those names make sense. I think all of those
Fifth
names
round pick.
with Russ make sense.
And you don't have to worry about them right away.
Yeah.
It's not one of those things because with how Calvin Austin and Van Jefferson are playing, you're not stressing if they're not picking things up right away. They're not getting on a moving train and being their usual selves.
Yeah.
You can give them a couple weeks. But the upside for them being here and providing a different element is, I think, worth it. And also just the fact that for the floor, they're providing depth.
I will say this, too.
In case Pickens gets hurt.
Seeing Deontay Johnson just get traded out of Carolina, I'm like, Adam Thielen, man. I think
Who'd you rather have, Thielen, Slayton, or who was the other name I just said? Jacoby Myers.
Mike Williams. Oh, you said Jacoby as well?
I don't think Williams is getting traded now with Lazard on IR.
I think Jacoby's the better out of all those guys, but I think he might be the toughest to get. I think Thielen is probably the easiest to get of the group because of what's going on in Carolina. I think Slayton is probably the easiest plug and play, though. Like, in the sense
he'll
of, like,
fit the best.
Yeah, I think, like, what he'll bring. Because Jacoby is still going to give me some GP vibes, but I do like Jacoby's game. Thielen's silky smooth, but we just know he's older, so
he's older.
Health becomes a part
coming
of
off
it.
Of the injury this year.
Health becomes.
But then last year he had the 1,000 yards,
right? And that was with way different quarterback play.
Yeah.
I
think those three are the names right now.
Yeah. Because we still got 4 days? Oh no, trade.
I think we're stupid if we don't
5th?
trade for one of those.
Yeah.
If we don't trade a 5th or a 6th for one of those guys, I think we're stupid.
Yeah.
Just for the depth purposes alone.
I'm with you.
Just for the depth purposes.
Because you lost Roman. If Roman Wilson had been here at any point or been productive at any point, you feel more confident about what that is or potential of it. But right now, you're saying this was something that we drafted higher in because we were anticipating production from it. Unfortunately, it hasn't been able to get out there because of health. So now let's offset the loss of this by bringing in something that doesn't kill us long term. It's not like a long term thing, but you can get us out of this season. And you could produce and might sell some money.
Yeah, and maybe even be better than what we got in Van Jefferson, Calvin Austin. That's what I like about those three players is they do have upside, but we don't need them right away or anything.
Yeah.
But they also provide the depth. It's just, a late round pick, low risk, potential high reward.
I would agree.
Like, why not make the move? Because there's a bunch of other guys available too, but I don't think they're as good as the three names that I just mentioned, like KJ Osborne, his name's getting thrown out there. Tutu Atwell, maybe. Tyler Boyd. It's like, okay, they could provide the depth, but they don't have the upside of those other three guys of actually being a better option or being a legit number 2 than what we got.